Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thanks for having me. My colleague is Ray Trico. Ray lives in Venice, Florida, right below Sarasota. He came over to work with me and present. Ray's been in the business 30 years in the auction business. Started in Chicago with his own companies, moved down here, had his own company in Venice, Florida as an auction company, and then decided about 8 years ago to join a larger auction company in the J.P. King Company. So Ray is a realtor. He was president of his local board in Venice, Florida. He is certified to speak for CE credits, actually, to by FAR and by FREC. So I'm glad to have Ray join us today as well, if you'll welcome him. Okay, so auctions, everybody probably has some idea or perception what they are, and hopefully we're here to break all those theories and give you the real truth. You know, auctions fit in some places and they don't fit in other places. So wanted to basically go through a little bit of that here. And oh, before I forget, we do headlines today. You see growing popularity. Auctions are becoming more popular around the country. South Florida has been a little hesitant with having auctions. In our experience, the banks and the developers are frozen in many ways down here. They just, fear has set in many occasions, and we don't see people moving as fast, but they're going to have to dispose of these properties one way or another, and we're going to try to explain how auctions can be a successful way of doing that. What's in it for my client? Right? That's what we're thinking about. Your client. Selling quickly. Time is the key ingredient of auctions. It's the fastest way to get an illiquid asset liquid. No contingencies. You come to auction, people buy, they don't have any due diligence afterwards, et cetera, et cetera. They did all that up front. They come to buy and purchase and close. And then market value dollars, what does that mean? That means we're going to engage competitive bidding for the property from, in our cases, most of the time, local, regional, and national audiences to invite them to come and bid competitively for the property to ensure market value at that time on that day. Okay, advantages of an auction. You can read through that with me, and focuses the entire buying market on your property. Let's stop there for a second and think about the glut of inventory that's out there. So what we're trying to do at an auction is take that property from the glut, put it up on a pedestal, and have the whole world look at it, shine a light on it. And how we're going to do that is through a marketing campaign with several different media sources. And we'll talk to that here in a minute. But we really want to spotlight that property. Usually what happens is an auction will freeze or tend to freeze the market, meaning that other like properties probably won't sell. Why? People want to see what's going to happen at that auction. Oh, I'm going to go to that. Oh, let's see what's going to happen there first. And so the tendency is for that to drive the marketplace, so to speak, for that type of property and freeze the rest of the competition for a while. The ultimate call to action. Auction buyers are action buyers. You know, they think of opportunity, of a bargain. And that's exactly what we want them to think. Because the auction drives people to the property that you normally wouldn't get. By that I mean, typically you have people in the marketplace, your buyers who are looking for property. And you know who they are, and you're trying to get them to buy that specific property or educate them about it. But the auction brings in people who were once in the market, got out, but now see auction and opportunity and say, I'm going to go there and see if that's something for me. And the third group, which really blows my mind, is people who have no interest in buying real estate whatsoever. They come to the auction, like what they see, and they buy 50% of the time in residential. Think about that. They're not interested, but they see auction and they come for that opportunity of a bargain. So you have three separate groups coming to bid competitively on auction day. Sell potentially 7 to 9 years of inventory through one event. I mean, I'm not going to go into all of that. It's very complicated. Realizes full upside value. We talked about the highly competitive bidding techniques. What's in it for me? Okay, why are you here? Why are we even talking about? Easy way to help the seller get sold. Typically what happens is you'll talk to us about a property, we'll send you a referral agreement, you'll sign that, introduce us to your client, and you don't have to do anything else. We'll make the presentation. If they decide to go to auction, we have a deal, and then you'll get paid at closing. If we don't do a deal, then at least you were savvy enough to bring this marketing concept to them before the next realtor did. The minimum usually for what you get paid is 20% of our net selling commission paid first at closing. So our selling commission varies across the board depending on type of property and size of property. And again, that's 20% of both sides of the contract. Well, in this case, it would be, 20% of both sides of our selling commission. And you're still able to represent buyers at the auction. So you're referring us the deal. You're going to get that referral fee when it closes. But if you have the buyer, you're still going to get another commission. So you still have that right to represent buyers for that property. Time, we talked about that earlier, a very key method for selling at auction. 60 to 90 days depending on many different factors. Motivation of the seller, how fast does he want to get sold, or he or she. The marketing time for the different publications usually is what holds up the auction. We could do it very fast, but if we're going to advertise in the Wall Street Journal, for instance, and want to do 3 or 4 runs every Friday, there's 3 or 4 weeks after the seller approves the ad and after we design the ad. So still, it's a date certain event. We know we're going to have an auction. I talk about it like having a wedding reception. You get we're the wedding planner. You get one shot at putting on the reception and you want to do it right? And you want to invite not only the local family, but you want to invite the people in New York and California too, well, depending on the auction property type, if that's where the buyer profile is, and we'll talk about that. But we want to invite everyone to the auction and then let them know what the parameters are and what day we're having the wedding event. Auction event in this case. So I put an example here. An agreement today, we would have a late October, early November auction, closing in 30 days or less. No contingency. What drives a successful auction? Increasing the number of motivated bidders. Anytime we can get more bidders to an auction means more money to the seller. That's just human nature. Bidders aggressively pursuing opportunity to purchase your property at their price. And the type of auction which we're going to get to has to be consistent with what the seller's objectives are and what the property is. Every auction type is not right for a specific property. We're going to go into absolute, reserve, hybrid, sealed bid, etc.